חברים וחברות, ברשותכם, לעילוי נשמותיהם של החברים שלנו וגם האלמנות שאנחנו מזכירים היום. המשנה בסוטה מ"ט מסיימת משמט רבי מאיר בטלו מושלי משלים. משמט בן עזאי בטלו השקדנים. משמט בן זומא בטלו הדרשנים. משמט רבי עקיבא בטל כבוד התורה. משמט רבי חנינא בן דוסא בטלו אנשי מעשה. משמט רבי יוסי קטנטה פסקו חסידים. משמט רבי יוחנן בן זכאי בטל זיו החכמה. משמט רבי גמליאל הזקן בטל כבוד התורה. ומתה טהרה ופרישות משמט. רבי ישמעאל בן פבי בטלה זיו הכהונה. משמט רבי בטל ענווה ויראת חטא. It occurs to me that the famous statement of Shimon HaTzadik, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים, can serve as a prism as we seek to understand this particular Mishnah. Obviously, all of the sages mentioned had many of the traits and the strengths that are ascribed to the others. And yet this tells us something about unique strengths and how they fit into this model of Torah, Avodah, Gemilot, Chasadim. Torah, Mishemet Rabbi Meir, Batlu Moshlei Mishalim. Rabbi Meir was a man of parables, a master of parables. The colleagues that we will mention and memorialize this day, many of them were gifted preachers. They mined our sources with a gift of interpretation. They developed nimshalim, that connected our venerable teachings to contemporary times, to the events of their day. Their sermons were a gift to their congregation, who week after week, chag after chag, left the synagogue inspired and challenged. Mishemet ben Azai, Batlu Hashakdanim. Some translate Shakdanim as assiduous students of Torah. He was a model of the sage, the eager student, the matmid, who with an endless thirst for the texts sought new meaning all the time. Among those we memorialize today are rabbis, colleagues, who set aside Zmanei Kavua, fixed times for the study of Torah or other sources of wisdom. They studied as individuals, they studied in Chevrutot. Among them are colleagues who chose academia over the pulpit and brought the teachings of our tradition into campus communities, impacting not only upon the Jewish students and faculty members, but many who are not Jewish. Torah, Mishemet Rabbi Akiva, Batel Kavod HaTorah. Rabbi Akiva, who we all think of especially with Lag Boma tomorrow, was the giant of Torah who embodied both scholarship and political leadership. He is the model of it's never too late to learn. He is the inspiration for adult study and for developing adult education programs. The colleagues we remember today, many of them understood the importance of educating children and also of educating adults. They developed adult education institutes, sought courses, seeking to inspire their balabatim to enroll in these courses and to grow, even as they themselves continue to grow, and as Rabbi Akiva, as we know, continued to grow. Al Avodah. Avodah, Yirat Shamayim, Yirat Chet. This was associated with Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, we know as Rabbi, who apparently was a model of the man who sought to walk with God and to comprehend the essence of divinity. We all understand that we see God, each of us in his or her different way, through a different prism. We all seek to understand God. We all seek to come close to divinity. We all ask questions when we feel that God has not really been in our lives, but possibly has failed us. The colleagues that we remember today, they too walked with God. They sought to communicate this sense of oneness with divinity through all that they did. And in essence, the model of Rabbi, of Yirat Chet, Yirat Shamayim, was very much there. Val Gemilut Chasadim. We're told that Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa was among the Anshe Ma'aseh. He was a man of deeds. He had a burning passion to correct the evils of the world. He extended himself to be there for those who needed help and support. Need I remind ourselves of the deep passion for social justice, tikkun olam, that energized our colleagues. Many of those we memorialize today lived and worked during the civil rights struggle of the 50s and the 60s, and during the Vietnam War. Their voices were heard. They were out there, from their pulpits, through their writings, participation in marches and protests. They challenged public policies that oppressed and demeaned human beings. Their mantra was tzedek, tzedek, tirdof. Their voices were, of course, heard very clearly and very loudly in support of Am Yisrael. They were there in the struggle for Soviet Jewry and powerful voices on behalf of Medinat Yisrael. Some of the colleagues we remember today died and were buried in Eretz Yisrael. Some were olim, having come to Israel to pursue their professional careers and lives. Others came to Israel upon retirement. But all who we remember this morning, at the sacred moment of memory, where Ohavei Tzion, lovers of Zion, who traveled to Israel, enjoyed sabbaticals there, organized missions, and were clear champions of Am Yisrael Be'eretz Yisrael. Whatever the need, wherever the crisis, to echo the words of Rabbi Yosef, De'ika Ani, I am here, I can be counted upon. A piyut in the morning of Tisha B'Av recalls the death of 10 great sages martyred by the Romans. It begins with the words, Arzei Lebanon, the cedars of Lebanon. That piyut describes their strength, their vitality, their endurance, and above all, their majesty. Our colleagues whose deaths we recall this day, at the sacred moment, were truly among the Arzei Lebanon, who are now having been felled physically, but remain for us, for their families, very much large in life. We mourn their passing. We are impoverished by their absence, but we are nourished by the memories of their lives and the constant recollection of their devotion al Torah, val avodah, val gemilut chasadim. And at this moment of memory, we also reflect upon the women who lived and worked side by side with our colleagues. We are always touched when we reflect upon the love story of Rabbi Akiva and Rachel. She inspired him to study Torah, and for years and years she was separated from him as he developed into the outstanding scholar of his time. His timeless tribute to Rachel was when he shared with his students his feeling that all that I am, and hence all that you are, is because of her. This thought is relevant as we reflect shortly upon the women who shared a rabbinic life with their spouses. As a group, they were well educated and frequently highly trained professionals. In more than one instance, they sublimated their careers to further the career of their husbands. Each in her own way was a true Eshet Chayil, whose home was always open to others, whose dedication and love dare not be taken for granted. Of them too we say, Tehei Nishmatan Tzrura B'Tzror HaChayim. And now I ask Laura Levine, who is serving as a cantor this morning, to join me as we recite the traditional El Malei Rahamim, which will then be followed by Kaddish.
El Malei Rahamim Shochein B'Meromim Hamitzeh Menucha Nechona Tachat Kanfei Ashchina B'Ma'alot Kedoshim Uteorim Kizohar Harakia Mashirim Et Nishmat.
Rabbi Myron Berman, Harav Meir ben Mordechai, Harav Yaakov Moshe ben Harav Avraham, Rabbi Jacob Chinitz, Harav Yaakov Yosef ben Harav Yitzchak Elchanan HaKohen V'Chana, Rabbi Jack Cohen, Harav Moshe Zerach ben Yehuda Yaakov HaKohen V'Rachel, Rabbi Maurice S. Cohen, Harav Moshe ben Rivka Utzvi, Rabbi Moshe Dror, Harav Moshe Ze'ev ben David V'Tova Chaya, Rabbi Moshe Goldblum, Harav Avraham ben Moshe, Rabbi Abraham Goldberg, Harav Malei bat David, Rabbi Monique Susskind Goldberg, Harav Levi Yosef ben Tzvi HaLevi, Rabbi Levi HaLevi, Harav Shimon ben Mordechai Chaim Ubela, Rabbi Simon Kobrenetz, Harav Mordechai ben Alter Yochanan HaLevi, Ufreda Rachel, Rabbi Mordechai Levi, Harav Shmuel ben Yedidya ve'Esther, Rabbi Robert Liberlis, Harav Avraham Menachem ben Harav Alimelech, Rabbi Max Lipschitz, Harav Yaakov Tzvi ben Yosef, Rabbi J. Harold Ramarovsky, Harav Ruvain ben Aharon HaLevi ve'Esther Gittel, Rabbi Reuven Siegel, Harav Shalom Yeshayahu ben Naftali Herzl Aryeh, Rabbi Seymour Shalom Stern, Harav Yehuda Leib ben Yaakov Rachel, Rabbi Leon Judah Weinberger.
שהלכו לעולמם בגן עדן תהא מנוחתם. אנא בעל הרחמים, הסתירם כן בסתר כנפיך לעולמים, וצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתם, אדוני הוא נחלתם. וינוחו בשלום על משכבם, ונאמר אמן. אל מולי רחמים, שוכן במרומים, המצא מנוחה נכונה תחת כנפי השכינה, במעלות קדושים ודורים, כי זוהר הרקיע מסהירים את נשמת.
Shoshana Russell, Bat Shena Batya Yosef, Roberta Bobby Cheskis Cohen, Chemda Yosefi, Bat Aharon David Vechana Esther, Leonor Dembowitz, Miriam Bat Aharon, Marion Siegel Fried, Nechama Bat Shraga Feivel Vechana, Natalie Reich Halpern Eichen, Freda Bat Mordechai Vehinda, Freda Giddens Freeman, Chaya Bat Eliyahu Olga, Laila Fishman, Blume Devora Bat Abraham Natan Esther, Devora Golinkin, Jean Halpern, Chaya Bat Yaakov Tzvi Bechana, Helen Kival, Mordechai Bat Eli, Malka Bat Eli Meir Udevora, Dr. Maureen Kessler, Yehudit Bat Zlata Devora Ubenyamin Yehuda, Edith Kling, Rivka Bat Harav Yehuda Lebu Malka, Ruth Shechtman, Yeta Bat Harav Moshe Mordechai Vesara, Yeta Tabachnik Siegel, Miriam Bat Yaakov, Miriam Shushat.
שהלכו לעומתן בגן עדן דהי מנוחתן אנה בעל הרחמים הסתירן בסתר כנפיך לעולמים וצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתן אדוני נחלתן ותנוחו בשלום על משכבן ונאמר אמן.
יתגדל, יתחדש שמי רבה, וילמד דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, וחייכון ויומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה בזמן קריב יאמרו אמן, יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עמיה, ויתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו, ויעלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תשבחתה ונחמתה, דע אמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. המקומם יבואו בשלום. אמן. Very beautiful.